Hello students, welcome to my video number 48, and in this video I'm going to start the next unit in our literature book, unit 4, which is based on my country. So all the 3 lessons we are going to learn about my country. So before that, let us see, there are some 2 warm-up exercises are given. First one, we see different flags that were adopted by India before independence are given here. You have to just choose the date, that is, choose the year in which these flags were adopted by the Indian freedom fighters. And for that, you will have to Google out and find out the answers. And next one we see here, some jumbled letters are given and the hint about the word is also given. You will have to arrange the letters and get the word according to the hint given. So these are the different facts about our country, and I feel this is going to be interesting if you complete it yourself. So let me leave these things for you to complete yourself and move to the first lesson. So what we see here, the first lesson is a poem, A Nation's Strength, a beautiful poem written by William Ralph Emerson. Now the poem speaks about the real strength of a nation. And in the poem, we will get to see the different things which people assume to be the real strength, but ultimately the poet gives us the insight into the real strength of a nation. At the end, we get to see that. So let us begin. The poem is a very small one consisting of 6 stanzas, and each stanza is of 4 lines. And it is giving out very important lesson, very important message for us to believe in. Now let us begin. The first stanza here, let me recite that. What makes a nation's pillars high and its foundations strong? What makes it mighty to defy the foes that round it throng? So the first stanza itself is in the form of a question. The poet is asking a question to the readers that what they think to be the real strength of a nation. But what we see here, he is comparing the nation with a building. Nation's pillars high and its foundations strong. We know pillars and foundations, these terms are related to a building. So here he is comparing it with a building and asking the real strength of a nation through this example, that the foundation of the nation has to be strong. And what makes it strong? What makes it mighty to defy the foes that round it throng? These 2 lines, he is asking the question that what are the things that make a nation strong enough to defy or challenge its enemies. Foes here means the enemies that surround the country in a large number. And that is what he is asking the question here to us. Let us move to the next part and see what different answers he is giving and what is the actual answer. So the next stanza here is, it is not gold, its kingdoms grand go down in battle shock. Its shafts are laid on sinking sand, not on abiding rock. So here we see that the poet himself is answering. He says that it is not gold that makes a country great. Here gold stands for material progress of a nation. A nation may have large treasures of gold, money or natural resources. It may be having very high per capita income, but this wealth is not permanent. It may come and it may go. The riches also make a person or a nation proud and rash. So any battle can ruin the material progress of a person or a nation. So what he wants to say, that the building which stands on weak foundation may fall any time. The foundation made on the basis of wealth is like that made on sinking sand, not on durable rocks, not on abiding rock. Means if the people think that wealth is the real strength, then such kind of nation, the foundation of such kind of nation is laid on sinking sand. Means it's not at all strong. and it's not made on any durable rock. Abiding rock means any something which is durable and trustworthy. The third stanza, let us see. Is it the sword as the red dust of empires passed away? The blood has turned their stones to rust, their glory to decay. Now in the third stanza again he asks one question. Is it the sword? And he himself is giving the answer. Sword here the sword stands for power. The people who are economically strong threatens others of different consequences. They even fight and terrorize them to accept their supremacy. That is, the people who are have power, that is the nation that feels itself to be powerful, it starts ruling others, ruling other countries, and wants them to surrender to it. So this power is also not permanent. It does not stay there forever. So we see here that the poet suggests to us to ask the dust of the empires, which are no more now, about the result of such dangerous battles that they fought. The bloodshed made the strong pillars of those empires weak as rust forces iron to decay. So the battles that were fought by the kingdoms, by the kings and empires in the history had not given them anything in return, and everything had come to decay. So he's talking about this here, that power is also not something which can give strength to the nation. It's not the power here. So let us see what he is talking about in this next stanza. Is it pride? Ah, that bright crown has seemed to nations sweet, but God has struck its lustre down, it in ashes at his feet. So here we see that after explaining that battles never made a nation strong, the poet continues to talk about the pride of wearing glittering crowns by the kings and queens and princes. That has also never made their nations powerful. Emperors and kings in the past, we know that they had been very fond of wearing bright crowns on their heads, and that was the reason of many fierce battles in history. They also felt proud of being powerful and owning great empires. But their pride had to fall down, their glory had to fade away with the passage of time. So we find that pride is also not permanent and cannot be taken as the real strength of a country. Kingdoms may have achieved their glory by making victories over weak kingdoms, but that glory was not permanent. And this thing is not liked, this pride is not liked by the people, by the God. Like see here, but God has struck its lustre down in ashes at his feet. Means the God is also not in favor of such people who cultivate pride in their attitude, and this thing is not liked by the God. So that is why those who felt proud of themselves and their possessions were brought down to ashes at his feet. At his feet means the God's feet. He doesn't like such people who have pride, and that is why he bring them down. So this is what in this stanza also he is talking about, the other thing which the nations feel to be the real strength, the pride on themselves. So this is also not the answer, that is, this is also not the real strength of the nation according to the poet. Now moving to the next stanza, the fifth stanza. Not gold but only men can make a people great and strong, men who for truth and honor's sake stand fast and suffer long. Here in this stanza, the fifth stanza, the poet very clearly and very nicely he explains the real strength of a nation. He says that it is not gold or wealth that makes a nation strong, only the people who can stand by truth and honesty, the one who are always there for the country. they stand for by truth and honesty, and who can suffer long for these great virtues, can make their country great and strong. So these people who are honest, who are truthful, these people only are the real strength of a nation. These are the brave men who are always alert and active. He is talking about such people who are always alert and active and ready to do anything for their country. These are the men who sacrifice their sleep for the safety and security of the country. So, ultimately we get to see that these are the men who are the real strength of a nation. Next stanza, let us see. Brave men who work while others sleep, who dare while others fly, they build a nation's pillars deep and lift them to the sky. So such kind of people who are truthful and who are honest are the real strength of a nation. They are brave men who work while others sleep, who dare while others fly. They build the nation's pillars deep and lift them to the sky. Means they bring laurels to the country. They bring good name to the country. These kind of people who are brave, who are truthful and honest, they are the real treasure, the real wealth of a nation. So this is what the poet wants to clear, and in a very straightforward way he makes the point clear to us that all these things which the people think to be the real strength, that is the materialistic things, gold and money, the power that they have, or the pride on their nation, these things are not the actual strength of a nation, but instead the real strength of a nation are the truthful and honest people, the hard-working and the brave men who are ready to do anything for their country and who are always there to bring good name, bring security and safety to the nation. So this is what the poem speaks about, and it leaves a very good message here. So I'm going to end the video here only. In the next video we will continue with the question answers and other things related to the poem. So till then everybody, take care and God bless you all.